Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Exploring Photography. I'm Mark Wallace, and in this episode we're going to talk about tethered shooting. Why would you do it? Is it worth it? And what are the benefits? You can see behind me, I have my laptop on a Tether Tools tethered table, and I have my camera tethered using a tethered cable. Well, why would you do that? Well, to help answer that question, we need to get a model in here that can help us, and we have one. Her name is Teresa. She's a fantastic model, and if you've been watching my videos for a while, you will recognize her because the very first video I ever made on YouTube, Teresa's the model. So it's good to reunite with you here in Phoenix. So Teresa is gonna hop back here inside all these lights, and then I'm gonna show you all the benefits and pitfalls and advantages of shooting tethered. So let's do that right now. Well, to get started, we have to understand some of the gear that we need to shoot tethered. Now, of course, I'm using Tether Tools gear because I've been using Tether Tools gear for years, and it's the best on the planet. And so that's why I'm using this. They're not paying me to tell you this, but I'm just a fanboy. So let me show you some of the stuff that I have. Right here, I have, this is a Tether Tools tether table, and this can be mounted on a normal tripod. I have it on a Matthews Lowboy. This is a big light stand that can be moved around. You can put it on a tripod, and Tether Tools actually has wheels that you can make the tripod roll around, but it's great. So you can just move it around the studio and put it wherever you want. And so I'm gonna have it right here next to me so that I can just look down at the laptop and see it as I'm shooting. And if I need to, I can sort of spin it around so Teresa can see what we're doing, or she can walk around. So that's that. Now this tether table has some stuff. So there is a disc holder on the side. So I've got an external disc drive. It's there. I have a cup holder over here. I don't have any water on me, but I can put a cup in there. I've got some little things here that hold cables. And then this is a tether cable right here. And I like having a lot of cables so I can move around. And so to make sure that that doesn't get ripped out of my camera, on the bottom of the camera, you can see here, this is a block that goes onto an Arca mount tripod, and so the cable goes in there and it sort of goes around like that, and so that's really secure. It's not going to be pulled out, and then it sits right on the tripod, so that doesn't work, doesn't have any issues. And so you have that's really secure to make sure that nothing happens to your tether cable. And then the other thing I have here is, because I like a really long cable, I have an extension on this. This one happens to be black. It's also made by Tether Tools. And this little joiner here that keeps it from, if you step on it, it's not going to break the connection. It's going to keep those from being pulled apart. So I've got that as well. So I can go, I think it's 15 or 20 feet with those cables. And then I have, in addition to this, I've got a strap more down here that's holding on my power supply. So I have my laptop powered. So basically I have a little workstation here that holds all of my stuff. And I think that is all the gear that I need right now. So it's basically, you need a camera, a cable from that camera to your laptop, and then ideally you put that laptop on something that can be moved around the studio. That's what the tether table is all about. And so that's all set up. The other thing that you need is something that can accept the pictures from your camera. And so you can use Capture One, you can use a bunch of different software applications. I'm using Lightroom Classic. It's the application that I'm used to, and I love it. So I'm going to show you how to set up Lightroom Classic for tethered shooting. Now that we know about the gear, let's talk a little bit about the lighting setup, just so you know what we're doing. From the perspective of the camera, you can see that we have two lights, just really soft lights. On the right here, we have a softbox. It's a parabolic softbox. It's made by Nanlite. It's a parabolic 150. It is a very large softbox. And so you can see that this just really fills all of the interior here. It's going to wrap around Teresa. That's going to give us really wonderful, nice, soft light. And then to give us a nice highlight on Teresa's cheek, we have another parabolic softbox. This is back here. It's not quite as large, but it still is very large. And both of these softboxes are powered by Nanlite Forza 500. These are LED light, COB LED lights. And so they give us lots and lots of power. They're very bright. So we can shoot at really fast shutter speeds. And because we're shooting with a wide open aperture, we can really freeze motion. And that is all there is to this very simple lighting setup. Well, we've got our light set up. Teresa is in place. We have the proper gear to do all this stuff. Now we have to connect all the parts. We have to get our camera connected to our computer. So I have a Canon R5, and so I have turned this on. It's ready to go. What I need to do now is to go into Lightroom Classic and tell it that there's a camera here that it needs to tether to. So we can go into Lightroom Classic, I can hit File, and then we can just go down here to Tethered Capture, Start Tethered Capture. Now, what we need to do here is we need to name the session. It could be anything you want. I'm just going to call this Teresa. I've already typed that in. And so there's another option here to segment photo by shot. So if you have some pauses or something, it will automatically stack things. I'm just going to leave that undone. The naming, I'm going to have this a custom name. So the session name, which is Teresa, and a sequence. So 287. I'm going to start this, let's just say at 200, because I'm going to start at 300 because we've already done a few shoots. So that makes sure that it doesn't overwrite anything. So it will start at Teresa-300. The destination, I've already chosen a folder, so I'm going to put this on my external hard drive in a folder called Photos, in a folder called Models, and then Teresa. So it will automatically go in there. Then we can also add these to a collection if we want. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to use my 2021 metadata, so it adds my copyright and stuff. And then I'm going to add these keywords, Teresa and shallow depth of field and model. I could add other ones to that. When you're tethered, you take a picture, that picture shows up on the screen. If you take a new one, the new one shows up. It advances automatically. So what you can do is you can go in here and disable that auto advance. I don't want to do that. I want to have it advance because I really like that. So I'm going to say, okay. Now it's going to look for the camera. The camera is on, so it shows up. There's this little bar right here that is the tethered bar. And so with this, so Teresa, I want you to look sort of at that. I don't know if it's going to show up or not here. But what I can do is I can use this bar to trigger the camera. So watch this. The camera fires, and now all of that stuff comes in. And so here is Teresa. So that's really cool. Now, if you notice, that photo just changed really quickly. It went from what it was to something else. The reason for that is we have this develop setting, Teresa depth of field. So what you can do here is when you're tethered, you can choose presets, develop presets. Now we shot a few samples previously. I set the white balance, I did some adjustments to that. I saved all those adjustments as a preset, and I named that preset Teresa depth of field. So now as these images are coming in, all of the changes that I made previously are all automatically going to be updated. So what I want to do here is show you that process. And so let me frame this up really fast. So I'm going to walk over here. So Teresa, I want you to look toward that light. Beautiful, just like that. I'm going to lock this camera down so you'll have to just look that way the whole time. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to zip over here and I'm going to trigger the camera. So I just triggered the camera and you can see that it auto advances, that shows up. Teresa, I want you to hold up your hand and put up a 2 like that, just so we can prove that this is happening. So this next photo will come up and here it is, shows a 2. So now let's do something. Let's go into the develop module in Lightroom. And I'm just going to do something really, really simple. I'm going to go into my basic adjustment. I'm going to change this to black and white. I'm going to go in to change it to a more contrasty black and white, maybe this. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to make this black and white. I'm going to close that. We have a radial filter on this. It's in the wrong place. I'm going to move this over a little bit, something like that. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over to my presets. I'm going to say create a preset. And we're going to call this Teresa black and white. And I'm going to save everything there, create that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to my normal library module here, the library module. And I'm going to put this as full screen, knock the tabs out. And then here on my tethered capture, I'm going to change this from Teresa depth of field. I'm going to go down here to my presets to Teresa black and white. All right. So now what will happen is when I shoot, so make sure you're looking the same place exactly. I will trigger the camera. Watch what happens. When it comes in, it will come in and automatically it's going to apply everything that we set in that preset to the image, which is a huge time saver because I can set up a preset for the way I think these should be, and as I'm shooting, I'm going to get proofs. So now that we have that, what I can do is I can spin this around like this, and then we're gonna start shooting here. So look right at me, beautiful. We're gonna just do a few of these like that. Excellent, Teresa, I like that. Beautiful. Okay, now, here's another thing you can do. I'm gonna zip this around. Now Teresa doesn't know what we're shooting, so Teresa, come on over. So what I can do here is I can use these images because we're tethered, and I can show Teresa how this is working. So for example, I wanna make sure that her shoulders are positioned in the right way. So I can say, here's how your shoulders is. Maybe we can have a little bit more of your hair to the side. When you're looking, let's have your chin come down. Whatever direction that we need to give, she can actually see that. And I can zoom way in here to see, is this in focus? Do we have critical focus? Is it good? And for this, guess what? I don't like these black and white conversions, do you? They're no good. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to that other preset, which is cool. So we're gonna go to my presets, Teresa, depth of field. I like that. We can go over here, we can change this really fast. Quick develop, Mark's presets, Teresa, depth of field. Boom, there it is. You can see that the radial filter is in the wrong place, so I can fix that really fast. I can go back over here. I can go to my radial filter. Here it is. Let's just move it over to the left a little bit. There we go, like that. Then I can go over to my Teresa depth of field, update it with my current settings, say yes, update that. And now, as we're shooting, those are gonna automatically be applied because I have that selected. Here we go, Mark's preset, Teresa depth of field. There we go. So I'm gonna go back to my library module. Teresa, have a seat there. So right off the bat, we have established a few things when we're shooting tethered. Number one, we are able to communicate much easier with the model. So the model can see instantly what's happening. You can even connect your computer to a big screen so your clients can see what's happening, the model can see what's happening, the art director can see what's happening, the makeup artist can see what's happening without everybody crowding around your computer. That can happen. You can communicate with the model and your team much more effectively. The second thing we can do is we can check critical focus and color and all of those things. And so we're shooting at 1.2, so it's really extremely shallow depth of field. And for me, because I'm an older guy, I can't really tell if I'm really in focus or not unless I can see that on a big screen. And so here in Lightroom, I can go into 100% and I can see exactly if I'm in focus or not. So I can do all of that. The third thing that we've already learned is we can cut down on our post-production dramatically because we can develop presets as we're shooting, apply them to the images as we're shooting. And so at the end of the session, not only are all of the raw files already on your computer, they're already processed at least to the state of a proof. And so that you can show those to the model or to the client and they can choose which ones they like. Then you can take them in and do any critical retouching, skin retouching, or whatever you need. And so that's really, really beneficial so you can get your stuff out to your clients much, much faster. So tethered shooting is definitely a bonus. And so since we have everything set up, I like this lighting style, everything's ready to go, we're gonna shoot a few and I'll show you the results. Well, I think that we could see definitely the benefits that we talked about. It was much easier for us to communicate, to get you to turn your shoulders and look the right way and have the eyes all that set when you could see actually what was happening on the computer. So communicating with the model, yes, it's a win. Cutting down on post-production, that's a win because we were able to use that preset. If we had clients, well, those images would be almost ready to go. At least the proofs would be ready to go right away. So that's really amazing. And it just makes sure everything runs smoothly. We were able to really check that critical focus to make sure that shallow depth of field was working. I mean, it's a huge benefit. So thanks for being such a fantastic model. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you again next time.